and today I'm going to share with you some tips. Hi everybody, welcome back, and if this is your first time, welcome. My name's Haddad, and today I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks I learned while incarcerated that have helped me remain happy and sober. Before we get started, if you'd like to, leave a like, leave a sub. The reason I'm saying this at the beginning of the video as opposed to somewhere in the middle, as I remember it, is there's a cobweb on my camera. That's not why. We are so close, God damn it. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, which is insane. I can't believe it happened so quickly, to be honest. And when we hit 1,000, I'm going to do a how-to prison taffy episode where I show you how to make taffy out of Kool-Aid in your microwave. And it was one of the main things that got me through lonely nights in prison is, you know, in huge amounts of sugar that I had to wait in line with a bunch of other convicts to heat up, mix, and make into taffy. So if we can get to 1,000, that would it's awesome. It's really awesome. Thank you. Today's video, So I thought of this and I was like, well, why don't we do like a top 10 tips and tricks video and that way it has 10 in the title. And if I get to 10 as I'm sharing with you what I have found helps me, then I will do that. But you've already clicked on this video, and if the title isn't top 10 something or other, then you know that I couldn't quite get there. So just that's how we do videos on this channel. It's not super organized, but I kind of like that, but for more than one reason. One, I don't like planning. It makes me feel bad inside, but also I think just being candid and it's us having a conversation is much better for at least what we're talking about here. So number one thing that I learned while I was incarcerated that helped me so much to stay calm, and even if I couldn't be happy, I could remain content, even grateful with some of the good things in my life, which I could probably count on two hands, maybe just even one while I was in prison. I made a video about it yesterday, is learning which voices in my head are giving me good advice and which ones are simply there to make me judge other people or feel bad about, like, oh, you're in prison, so you're never gonna, like, you're gonna be at best you're gonna be 3 years behind, but you're already behind because of your addiction, so you're gonna be, like, just there to make me feel bad about myself, and in some convoluted way protect me, like insulate me from the outside world by me just throwing a pity party instead of actually interacting with the things happening around me. But I have to learn which thoughts to listen to and which thoughts to just acknowledge and say, all right, thank you for coming by, but go away. You need to leave. Thank you, mailman, for dropping off your package. Return to sender. Not interested. Thank you. That was number one, is I spent a lot of time in my head, because that's what you do in prison. What else are you going to do? And I started to be able to differentiate, which I think a lot of people can do normally, naturally, without having to get put in an adult time out to be able to learn how to do, but it was helpful to me. Second thing is when I am feeling unmotivated, right? Or uninspired, like I want to make a video. I need to adhere to a decent upload schedule. And I have a bunch of ideas that you guys have given me, which are all wonderful, but I don't wake up every day like excited to do every idea that I have written down. And I prefer to talk about things I'm passionate about in that moment. So it is so helpful to me. I don't even remember where I saw it. It's a circle. It's I don't know. What is it? It's not a graph. I don't know what the hell it is. It's a circle, right? And there are 3 things on it. So it's got motivation, and it's got inspiration, and it's got action, right? So motivation leads to inspiration, leads to action. But action leads to motivation, which leads to inspiration. And you can go around it the other way. Inspiration leads to motivation, leads to action. And I can start anywhere on that circle when I'm feeling lost, when I'm feeling like I don't even know how to make today decent. I can start anywhere, right? So using again the example of I want to make a video. I'm not inspired. I'm barely motivated. I just have this vague sense of guilt that I really need to upload. I can just start. I can just sit down here and I don't even have to start recording. I can start answering comments, responding to people authentically. And then all of a sudden now I'm moving and I'm grooving and I feel good about what I'm doing, and boom, an idea that I care about pops in. Or mix it up a little bit. The circumstances are I wake up, God damn, I can't wait to make a video, but I have no idea what it's going to be about. And I want to make a video while sitting complacently on my couch, not moving at all. But I'm motivated, right? So I'm sitting there on my couch. I'm half unconscious. And because I'm motivated and my brain is doing the work for me without me having to sit there, like really hyper fixated on it. My brain is stewing in the background. Boom, inspiration. I get an idea, which drives me to act. And finally, you feel like you've got writer's block, for me, video block, whatever. I have this really good idea, but I just can't, I don't know, and then snap, something clicks into place to make that idea complete. And because it's complete now, because I see, the bigger picture and I'm really stoked about it, There's motivation, and I begin to act. So that circle, that each thing can lead to the other, and you don't have to go around it clockwise, or that was counterclockwise for you, or, counterclockwise. You just have to pick a point on that circle. Motivation, inspiration, action. Start anywhere, and those things all lead to one another. And it doesn't have to be for a creative project. It can be for, I don't want to do the dishes. I don't want to do the dishes. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to stay on my couch. Well, what if you put on Queen while you're doing the dishes? Okay, that makes the dishes seem slightly better. Inside scoop, doing the dishes is never going to be as exciting as I'm going to, take a trip to the Bahamas or whatever. But I'm going to turn on Queen while I do it. There's some more motivation. I was inspired to turn on Queen. I turn on Queen. Now I've got a little bit more motivation and I'm driven to act. Screw it. I can at least do dishes for the duration of Bohemian Rhapsody, which is like a 7-minute song. And there's a good chance by the end of it, I'm going to be done. The devil has a son for me. So that's been really helpful to me in and out of prison. It's so hard to get motivated in prison to do anything other than lay in bed. So to find ways to begin doing something productive, even though I could easily convince myself that it was all a waste because I'm stuck here, no one's going to see the work that I do, and when I get out, I'm going to be years behind. It was so helpful. It's such a uplifting feeling to do something for yourself without anyone knowing about it. I'm doing this for me. This is not about anybody else. It's one of the most beautiful things about life, I think, is how I've slowly learned how to take care of myself, basically. The third thing, tip and trick that I have learned that has helped me remain happy, full of acceptance and gratitude even sometimes, is that, and I hated it when I first heard it, is a gratitude list. I don't think, maybe twice have I actually written down things that I'm grateful for. But pretty often I'll be lying in bed at night after a day that I wasn't totally thrilled by, right? Like, let's say I uploaded a video and I feel like a lot of things in it could have been better, or the thumbnail could have been cleaner, or whatever. Or I got into a fight with my dad or something like that. I don't have to name things for you guys that don't always go well. I'm sure you've had things not go well also. And I'll be laying in bed, and I'm not going to sit up and get a pen and paper, but I'll start listing things in my head not even that I feel grateful for in the moment, but that are good things that I know gratitude could easily be connected with, right? Like I think about the relationship I have with my family now that I always wanted but didn't know how to have and really couldn't have because I wasn't able to stay sober. Or I think about how lucky I am to have found Nolly, my pit bull. That I love dogs. I would have been happy with any dog, very very happy. But she is such a special combination of traits and her backstory that she's a rescue. She was abused, and I had just gotten out of prison, and I got her, and it's just like we could help each other. Who saved? Did she save me or did I save her? That sort of cliche thing, but really. And I start naming these things, and it's not like a shot of meth in the neck. Like I'm not like woo, but I feel better. I feel way better. And like I said, I do it at night a lot of times, and I end up falling asleep without feeling that dread like I wasted a day, but feeling grateful. Like, hey, life is okay, even if today didn't go perfectly. Look at how wonderful your life is. And even if you're not in a position to really notice it today, that doesn't change the fact that these things are in your life. You're in a bad mood, you're in a good mood. These things are constants. Yes, life changes. Now they won't be alive forever. But right now, you're safe. Even if you're depressed today, whatever it is, these are some solid, good things in your life. And you can lean back on those things. And that's been really, really helpful for me. Tip number 3. So, gratitude list. Tip number 4 that I have found has been so helpful for me is obvious. It's obvious. I have to have people in my life that I feel like we're the same person. And what I mean by that is not like we have the same job and we wear the same clothes and, we use the same toothbrush. That's not what I mean. What I mean, my hair is in my eyes today and it's bothering me. What I mean is that connection that I have with them was so quick to flourish because we're, like kindred that way. And when I tell them something embarrassing or bad that has happened, it's almost as easy as when I tell them something pointless. Like if, I say like, I really like bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwiches. And they're like, that's cool. Good story, bro. And then I tell them something like, yeah, I was craving this week and it's been really difficult because my brain is trying to convince me that pot is okay, even though I know pot leads to heroin for me. And when I tell them that, I don't feel like I'm risking the relationship. I don't feel like I'm walking on eggshells. I feel like I feel safe. I feel like I'm talking to somebody who gets it. There's a few people in my life that I'm lucky to have in my life that are that way for me. My brother Andrew, my friend Thrasher, who I met in prison, my friend Evan. I can tell people my mom, but it's different because my mom is not a drug addict. My brother Andrew's not a drug addict, but it's messy. Do you understand? It's just different. My mom gives me a different kind of support, even though I feel comfortable telling her everything. It's different. You guys get it. But for example, Thrasher, he's been through so many things that are similar to what I've been through. He was incarcerated. Like I said, that's where I met him. He's a drug addict. He's trying to not be an active drug addict. He's had a lot of successes and a lot of failures in regards to staying sober. He has a knack for getting in dysfunctional relationships, but he understands that he does that. So I can meet people that are struggling with the same problems I have struggled with, but a key piece of it is that they're also trying to overcome it. They can't just be in the stage where they're a victim of it or they're still loving it. Like Thrasher and I, when we commune about relationships, he's able to look at his experience, even if it's current, objectively, because he has the understanding that, man, I date people where I basically know from the beginning it's going to be a bad idea. And I do it anyways because whatever, I'm lonely or they're just really attractive or they remind me of somebody else, or, whatever. Or I let my, like the feel-good chemicals, oxytocin and all that at the beginning stages of a relationship convince me that I'm in love. And then 9 months go by and I hate the person. Like, I fall for it every time. Why do I do that? That kind of thing. And so he and I are at similar stages with that, where we've both realized it. We've both stopped doing that. But every now and then we see somebody and we're like, I might make a mistake with you, that sort of thing. And so having somebody like that in my life and multiple people like that in my life, I don't talk to Thrasher about everything. I don't talk to my brother Andrew about everything. I don't talk to Evan about everything. Talk to him about different stuff. And it's not always just us venting problems. That's not what I'm saying, but just sharing successes too. But having that person where when I'm talking to them, it's not like talking to a wall. That was what I was going to say. And that's a bad example. I have to describe it with feelings. That's the only way I can do it. When I send the information out there, I have zero fear about the reaction I'm going to get back. Even if they're not able to give me the best advice, that's not really the point. The point is I'm accepted for whatever I'm going through right now. And I'm sure you guys have had the experience of sharing something difficult with someone who cares about you deeply, wants the best for you, but that has not had similar experiences at all, at all. And even if they give you good advice because they're that third party looking at the situation objectively, there's not that click, like the puzzle pieces don't fit together. And the whole time I find myself, when I'm sharing with somebody like that, who I care about too, I feel like I'm trying to frame everything the right way. And I'm not able, because of that, I'm not able to just speak the truth candidly. I have to frame everything and all the pieces have to be in place. And I catch myself trying to make it seem like I'm the victim, or I catch myself trying to make it seem like somebody else is off. Like, I'm not just sharing, I'm not just connected with somebody. It's a task. Even if it is helpful, it's not the same type of helpful. I have to have good friends that are going to show up on my darkest days. Have to. What was that, number 4? No, but we're not getting to 10. I mean, maybe I will make this video, I'll post it, and then I'll realize, there was so much more I could have said easily. Number 5, and this is weird because it was something that I realized while I was in prison, but I couldn't actually practice it while I was there. So I had to find ways to do it that were definitely not as good as actually doing it. Let me just say it. Jesus, criminy Jimbus. Being outside. And not just being outside, like taking in the outside. I did tree work for a long time. I've mentioned it on this channel. It's basically the unsexy version of lumberjacking. That's why I have all these plaid shirts. So I was outside all the time. I was outside for 12 hours of every day in the hottest summer that the state I live in has ever had, like literally 102 degrees. Like getting my muscles locking up, and just because I was dehydrated, even though I was chugging water, and maybe it was an electrolyte thing. I don't know. That's definitely not what this video is about. Point is, I was outside all day, and yeah, I benefited from it because I was getting sun and I was active, but it's not the same thing. It didn't give me peace. It got me in shape. But I can be here stressed out about something. I read something that's upsetting to me, or I can't figure out how to make this video, or the thumbnail is taking 8 hours when it's a 5-minute video, like insane stuff, stupid stuff. And I can go out on my back patio, which is, screened in porch, that sort of thing. Nolly will come with me and I can just sit. And I'm in a suburban neighborhood. It's not like I'm in the middle of the Ozarks and, oh, wow, Mother Nature in her truest form. It's not it. There's a retention pond behind my house that was definitely not God made. It was put in by man, and there's a bunch of houses, and I can see people on their back porches, smoking cigarettes and talking on the phone to the person they're going to cheat on their wife with, like ugly stuff. But because I'm outside and I'm seeing what nature there is to see there, and I'm breathing it in, and I'm taking a minute to set everything else aside, everything that seems important but is only important right now, that a week from now, I'm not even going to remember that it was a problem, that sort of thing. And maybe you don't have to be in nature for this, but I think you do. I know that I do. I have to be outside. And I would do it during the winter. I couldn't stay out as long, but it's spring now, and I was able to sit yesterday, to sit outside and take a deep breath of the freshest air that you can get in a suburban neighborhood, and feel enough calm to return to what I was doing without feeling completely overwhelmed, basically. In prison, I would literally look at pictures of trees. I didn't touch a tree for like 3 or 4 years. We could go outside to rec. Well, we could go to rec, and like 1 out of 10 times it would be outside. The guards had to want to go outside. It didn't matter if we had gotten to go outside or not recently. It's if the guards wanted to. And was it, like mildly sprinkling or clear skies, basically. If it was raining at all, we couldn't go. If it was windy, sorry guys, it's windy. It might blow you away to freedom. We couldn't go, so it didn't happen often. But I had the opportunity to go, and what it was is basically a track, like a high school track. And, a bunch of felons selling and trading drugs and working out and fighting. And to be honest with you, I was still able to get the experience there. Not exactly, but I was still able to take in a breath. If I could separate myself from people, because when you're out there and people know you as somebody who is willing to trade, like food and stuff, they're going to use that time to interact with you, because you are going to be there with people from different dorms. So now's the opportunity. They're not going to see you for another who knows how many days, probably weeks, maybe even months. So like separate yourself. And when I could do that, it was beneficial. It really was. I literally think I managed that 2 times. We only went outside while I was there maybe 6 times. But I looked at pictures of trees. I found magazines that had like cologne ads, and there were, like it'd be like, you're looking at an evergreen forest top down, so that really nice deep bluish green, and then like Calvin Klein, like that. And I would look at it and I would think about what it felt like to be in a forest like that. I was lucky when I was younger to hike in Montana, so I have some notion of that. And if I didn't, I think I could imagine a different forest. I'm talking too long about this because I'm sure you get it. But I had to put my mind there. And that's the important thing. It doesn't matter if I'm in the suburbs. It doesn't matter if I'm in a prison rec yard. It doesn't matter if I am in the Ozarks. I have to take a breath and put my mind there. And I feel like when I do that, when I'm able to do that, I connect to something deeper than the problems I'm going through. And it almost always is able to lift me up out of the muck of daily living enough so that I can return to daily living and be more effective at it. 6, trick number 6 is I have to move. I have to move. And I don't mean exercise. That's awesome. Go exercise. It's so good. It is not normal to be a mammal and not move. That is really a weird thing. It is weird that I am sitting in a chair talking to a camera and I'm an ape, like a mostly hairless ape. That is super weird. Okay, so the closer I can get to just being a regular mammal at times, the better. Don't eat your young. Don't do that. When you don't have enough food, don't eat your children, because some mammals do that. I'm not suggesting doing that. I'm saying I can't be sedentary and expect to feel my best. I just can't. But again, I'm not even saying go run around the block. I mean, if you want, whatever. I'm saying if you're sitting on the couch and your body feels bad and no TV show is good anymore and everybody's stupid, literally like stretch your arms above your head just for like 30 seconds, not even that much. Shake your hands, wiggle your toes. I'm not going to put my toes up here. That's a lot of work. Just imagine these are toes. That would be fucked up if my feet looked like that. Jesus. Move. Like, it doesn't take much. Just do it for a couple minutes. Your body will thank you. And this is not even really it is a kind of a health channel, but not really. I talk about my struggle with the food. I'm not giving you, vegan tips, but just moving. Like, the human body needs to move. It can't sit in one place and feel good. I could go on and on about this, and I got to be careful because I don't want to right now. But it is frustrating to me to watch so many people living sedentary lives. And I'm not talking about obesity. I'm not talking, like, I have problems with food. My mom has had problems with food. My sister, like, lots of people in my family have problems with food. I'm not blaming people for having trouble with their weight. That's not what I'm saying. But so many people living sedentary lives and making no changes and wondering why they don't feel better than they do. And the changes that need to be made don't have to happen overnight, and they don't have to be grandiose. They can just add a little bit more movement into your day. And the way I figured this out is when I first got to the prison I was officially going to be at for my entire sentence, not the assessment place that you first go to from jail, but the real prison. Well, they're both real prisons, but the final stop on my little road trip, I slept in bed. Obviously, I slept for 16 to 20 hours of every day. And it was because I was so miserable. I couldn't handle, a lot of it was like there was so much stimulation. Am I thinking of something related to Joe Biden? Stimulation, whatever. There was a lot happening, a lot of external inputs. And so I think I was exhausted from the noise and the activity and all that. But I didn't need 20 hours of sleep. I was basically using it as an escape from the stuff around me. And sometimes you need more than 8 hours. You do. But that was not the case after the first couple days. But I had been laying in bed so much, and I felt so shitty. And I don't know what book I read it in. I wish I did. Maybe the Power of Agency. If that's it, I'll let you know in the description or something. The Power of Agency is a really great book. But I just decided I'm just going to stand up, stretch, and if I feel like it after I stretch a little bit, I'm going to walk around the dorm like 5 times, which is the equivalent of maybe 1/10 of a mile. And that's what I did. And I would get up and I would stretch, and if I felt like going for a little stroll, I'd kick on my cute little Crocs that they give you in prison so you don't beat people with your tennis shoes, and I would go for a stroll, and it helped. And I was still in prison. Certainly didn't feel like I was walking down Park Avenue or anything like that, but my body felt better. And when I went back inevitably and laid in bed to read and to seclude myself from everything happening in my life at that time, I felt better. I was able to focus on what I was reading more. I was happier to see when somebody popped up to say hi, like if Thrasher or Diesel or somebody ran over and they're like, "Hey man, how's it going?" I was happier to see him than I would have been if I had just been mummifying myself in prison blankets the whole time. It was really helpful. It really was. That's tip number 6. Get some movement in. Tip number 7. Drink water. I'm dead serious. So I'm going to make these numbers up, but please trust me that they're vaguely correct within 5 plus or minus 5%. It takes like a 3% level of dehydration in your body, right? Like you go from 100% capacity to 97% capacity, and your brain functions at it's something like 20%, 10 to 20% less effectively. And your brain is everything. So it's your mood, it's your ability to think clearly, it's your ability to think creatively. It's your ability to, connect the dots, that sort of thing. All sorts of stuff. And that's just from a little bit of water. So I think I just drank coffee. In thinking back, I don't know how. I don't know how I ever did that. But now when I wake up, I drink not two of these, basically one of these, but like two big glasses of water, cold water. I don't know enough about metabolism to talk to you about it, but from what I understand, it gets your metabolism going. It wakes your system up, right? Muscles have to start moving and grooving to move the water to the right places. But most importantly, it rehydrates you. You don't get to lay in bed for whatever, 5 to 12 hours overnight and wake up with nothing missing. Your body uses water while you're asleep. So just doing that, just drinking a couple glasses of water. And if you don't like water, you're a nutty person, but I understand that some people don't. I don't get it. It's the best thing. It is so essential. Put some lemon in it. This is not this channel, but put some, there's this stuff called Mio, and you can get it caffeinated or uncaffeinated, but a lot of times I'll skip the coffee and I'll do that instead. But you can get it without the caffeine, like I said. And yeah, you can get the water from other places, but like, don't. Just don't. I'm happy that you've managed to get all the vitamin C you need from 4 different Taco Bell meals. Like, congrats. But like, just get the water from water, at least the first dose. Just have some connection to what we used to have to do. Maybe that's a lot of what I'm saying here is like, we, anywhere between 50,000 to 200,000 years ago, we started on this path of whatever the fuck we are now. And it hasn't been that long in terms of the grand picture since we got here to the modern age where I turn on my sink and there's water, and I am a hairless ape talking into a camera and there's food everywhere, and I do this on a phone, and then a man arrives and he's like, here. I have him leave it on the doorstep because I don't want to talk to him. And it's all, also the pandemic. That's only going to be an excuse for so much longer. God damn it. But it hasn't been that long since we got here. And even though it feels like we can't just go from here to here because the technology has changed so much and because we feel like we can. It's going to be a gradual process for our bodies, for our brains. And so having some connection to that old us is healthy. Like, not every meal being processed is healthy. Not every bit of water you get coming from Diet Coke is healthy. And even if I'm a lunatic and it's just placebo, like just having some connection to that us that we used to be when we really had to fight to survive, it just feels good for me because I think it makes sense, which I think there's plenty of evidence to suggest that this is true. But let's say I'm making it up and I'm a crazy person. There are plenty of things that I don't think are okay to believe just because it makes you feel good, even if it's like not true. This is one where I feel like it's fine. I'm not saying put on a loincloth and go, pillage the mall with a spear you made from that dead oak tree in your backyard. I'm saying drink water sometimes instead of Diet Coke or coffee, and like drink water in the morning, and occasionally eat like a vegetable. The tip number 7, was that what it was? Supposed to be just drink water, but just drink water. Just drink water. I learned that in prison because water was very far away. It wasn't easy to go fill up my cup. When you first get there, you get a tiny cup that if you filled it full of water and gave it to a baby bird, and the baby bird drank all of it, that baby bird would still die from dehydration by the end of the day. So when you first get there, you have to fill up this thing 8 million times and chug it, that sort of thing. But eventually, if you're a really cool guy like me, you get a big mug, and you have to like buy it used off somebody and then scrub it with bleach that you had to pay the guard, drugs to get, and then you clean it, and then there's your mug that's gone. It's hand me down times 15, and boom, but now you don't have to fill up your water so much. But you still have to go all the way to the bathroom, which is not that close, and it still has to be allowed. There are so many times during the day where the guards have to have you on your bunks. You have to be on your bunks. They're counting making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be, making sure nobody's run away, making sure nobody's sneaking between dorms, whatever. And it's not just when it's count time, it's whenever the guards feel that there's some threat or something that they need to address that is more important than your ability to be in the day room watching Jerry Springer, which is pretty often. They're going to have you sit on your bed so you can't get water. So there are so many times while you're in prison that if you don't have water already, you can't have it. And you can't say, please, sir, may I have some more? There's no water. You just don't have water now. And the guard certainly does not have to let you go get water, not just because you're a little parched, maybe after a day and you're literally dying, he can let you go, but he doesn't have to let you go. And you're not just on your bunk for an hour, which is still a lot, in my opinion. If you're thirsty and you have to wait an hour, that's a lot. You could be on there for literally days. If there was a fight in another dorm that they believe was gang related, you could be on your bunk for a week. Especially if somebody gets seriously hurt. We had to lay on our stomachs for like a week. And they have you roll over so you don't get bed sores. And everybody has to be on their stomach or on their back. And everybody has to be on their stomach at the same time. And everybody has to be on their back at the same time or on their side. And they have you literally, somebody's there like a weird body conductor with a baton. And he's to the left, to the right. That sort of thing. Not literally with a baton, but that's what they have you do. So if you don't have water when they're doing their weird, body orchestra thing, then you can't have it. And so I made sure that I had it. And I started drinking more water. And I drank it in the morning because I was afraid that when count time happened at 7 a.m., I wouldn't have any. So I would wake up, chug a bunch of it, and get more. And what do you know? Even though I was in prison and it's miserable, my body felt better. And that's so much a part of feeling good, is taking care of your physical self. A lot of you guys know that I struggle with food. And I can tell when I haven't been eating the right way. And I'm not saying restricting and 1,000 calories a day or you're a loser. That's not what I mean. I mean like just eating whole foods occasionally. I'm talking about this too much. Also, I'm burping while I'm talking. Excuse me. So water. Tip number 7. I'm going to stop. I don't want to get to 10. I could do 10, but this video is so long. We'll talk about this again. This is a long video. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.